Welcome to the ultimate cartoon movie hub. From timeless classics to the latest hits, we bring the best of animation to your screen. Subscribe and join the fun. The film begins in Russia when it was still called the Soviet Union and was led by Stalin. We see a young boy named Samu running away from other children, scared. When Lana sees him and finds him unable to do anything about those chasing him, she runs to defend him and hits Dmitri, who says, "If you weren't a girl, I would have hit you," and go to Samu and tell him, "If I leave you with them, they'll beat you, so toughen up a bit and try to face them until you can handle them." But Samu tells her, "I'm not running because I'm afraid of them. I'm running because I'm afraid for them." Lana doesn't believe him and keeps insisting until she sees him lifting a car with one hand, realizing he has super strength and could easily defeat those chasing him. He goes to Lana to lift her and fly with her into the sky. She tells him, "I have an idea. You must serve the country. You have a power that no one else has," prompting him to decide to go to the president and offer to serve his country with his strength. Years later in America, Eisenhower calls Luther, who owns many companies, to warn him about someone posing as a hero in Russia, which could scare people here. Luther reassures him, saying his company can handle anything and that he'll place a satellite over Russia to relay all the news. Meanwhile, the military leader advises to back off for now because the satellite has arrived. When asked what he's doing, he replies, "The world is upside down because of the Russian Superman causing concern." The next day, Stalin stands before the people to inaugurate a new dam built during his era, crediting Superman for its completion. Superman addresses the crowd, saying the real hero is the Russian citizen who persevered despite challenges. Suddenly, a catastrophe occurs as a satellite goes off course, threatening to crash on the US East Coast. Although America is looking for an excuse to fight Russia, Superman hears this and rushes to save people, making the satellite fall into the sea at the last second. Returning to the street, he tells people, "You think I hate Americans, but that's not true. We're against your government's policy, nothing more," proving his point by saving them. Lois, standing among the crowd, challenges him to a public interview to prove he's not doing anything wrong, so that he leaves her and fly away. And Louis comes back at night to sit and smoke cigarettes and think about what happened until Superman arrives, advising her against smoking at night for her health. Lois accuses him of defending his president and orchestrating the satellite incident to appear heroic. Superman insists they're concerned about people's lives. Lois hands him a file, urging him to open it and see the prisons where people suffer, to verify the truth himself rather than blindly defending the president. Superman breaks into one of the prisons from the file, finding people working under harsh conditions, nearly dying, and guards torturing anyone who protests. Shocked, he meets a young boy who asks how he couldn't hear their cries all this time. He looks to see Lana exhausted. She tells him before dying that he must help the oppressed. Superman confronts the president, questioning his actions and the needless killing of people. The president dismisses him, saying he won't understand politics. Superman insists on addressing the matter, but the president argues there's no better leadership model, even if it costs lives. After killing the president with his laser vision, the army leader enters, and Superman declares he must free the world from its current state. Meanwhile, Luthor is at home when a phone rings, revealing Stalin's assassination. Luthor tells Lois he has a plan that won't fail. They leave together, and Luthor finds someone cleaning the satellite Superman saved, planning to use its DNA to create an American Superman. Riding in a car with Lois, she reminds him of her promotion and their anniversary, but Luthor is preoccupied with the Superman project. They arrive to find the president addressing a crowd, announcing they have created Superior, capable of defeating Superman. Superman dances with Wonder Woman, proposing they unite to liberate humanity. She agrees to help as a friend. After she leaves, Superior confronts Superman, accusing him of causing trouble. Superman questions his audacity, reminding him he saved America from the satellite. They engage in a battle observed by military leaders who increase power levels, despite scientists' warning of potential destruction. Ignoring their advice, they continue until Superior bursts, leaving Luthor to admit he knew this would happen but proceeded anyway. How can you do something like that just to say to her, "What are you saying? It's just DNA." Then he took only 12%, meaning he was going to lose anyway. Your sympathy is misplaced. If it were a human being, what would you have done to get upset? Lois leaves the place and walks away. After that, it's time to build the Berlin Wall that will divide Germany into East and West. A journalist arrives to stand by the wall to report on what's happening until Superman arrives and says, "This wall only prevents people from knowing the truth, so I'm going to demolish it," and he destroys the wall and walks away. The reporter says, It's clear from what we're seeing that Superman will soon control the entire world. He sees all this news and says, I have to take a new step to bring Superman back to Russia, until there's an attack by a robot on a village in Russia called Belgrade. It shrinks in size until it can be captured and put on display in a museum to tell people, what you're seeing is the robot that attacked Russia some time ago. But Superman managed to capture it and reprogram it to help control people's minds and prevent anyone from committing a crime. But Batman intervenes and says, you're dreaming. You want to turn us into robots like you, but I won't allow that to happen. There's a bomb in this museum that will go off in 10 minutes. When people try to escape, the bomb explodes, and Batman says, sorry, I meant 10 seconds, but it doesn't matter, everyone will die anyway. The police continue to chase Batman and try to catch him while he escapes, until Superman confronts 3 people working with Batman and tells them, how can you participate in such inhumane bombings? But I won't harm you because I can do something better and make you serve me. Then he arrives to help the people affected by the bombings, until he saves them and returns home to show her how his model of governance is successful. And people obey him but don't like what he did. They tell him, you should give people some freedom. Then the Korean ambassador arrives, sitting terrified until he asks him, why are you so uneasy? The ambassador replies, honestly, at first, you wanted to help people and free them from wars, but now all you care about is being a dictator like the one before you. In America, Luthor has become important, and he goes with the president to see a new discovery. The president opens the door to find Green Lantern lying on the bed, unable to move, but the ring that is the source of his power is in his hand. And the president takes it and gives it to the captain, saying, we want to form a new battalion in the army, and we want you to lead it and take instructions from us only. Superman stands until he sees a big explosion and runs towards it, finding Batman holding Wonder Woman with her lasso of truth, telling Superman, you can't do anything to me because now she can't lie or break an order. I've ordered her to kill anyone who harms me, so feel free to try. When Superman asks, what do you want from me exactly? Batman says, you're an alien who knows nothing about humans and wants to rule them without a heart or anything. I want to destroy you and break your pride. When Superman asks, and how will you do that? Batman says, you'll see now. He activates lights like those on Superman's planet and tells him, now you can't do anything and have no power. Batman keeps hitting him until he throws him into a distant pit, saying, stay here until we see what happens. She gets up and tries to free herself until she cuts the lasso, turning into an old woman after losing her connection. She remains there until he escapes and tells Batman, I won't harm you, but Batman tries to hit him, so Superman killed him. She says, I can't be your friend after this, but I won't be your enemy either, and I won't work with you again, leaving him and flying away. In America at that time, Luthor takes control of the government and makes his assistant the vice president, and Lois becomes the spokesperson for the presidency. He stands to say in his speech that he will run America democratically and won't fall into the trap that Russia did when they thought Superman would treat them as humans until he enslaved them. When Superman watches this interview, he tells the robot, what's on TV is completely off, and it seems he won't calm down until something happens that he can't handle. He decides to go and see what he'll do with him, but on the way, Rogers is waiting with a team all using the power of the Green Lantern ring, waiting for Superman in the air until he reaches them with the robot and starts hitting them. But they reorganize their plan and stand against him. Each one hits him a bit until they all focus their power on him to trap him in a cube, appearing on him while he can't move, thinking he's trapped. But she arrives just in time to free him, saying, this time, not because I'm your friend, but for the days we saved humanity. And I want to tell you that humans will always fight each other. You can stop all this. Go back and let America do what it wants. He tells her, no, you're not going to tell me what to do. When he tries to reach for her, she grabs him and says, that's it. That was the last time you'll see me in history, and consider that we've never met before, leaving him and walking away. Superman then turns to find Rogers' team still standing behind him, and he fights them until he finishes them and continues his journey to America until he reaches the presidential palace. He's surprised there's no security until he finds Lois comes out the city of Belgrade, which had shrunk, to give it to Superman, saying, you know we saved this city, and you didn't help it and left, busy with strange things until you became exactly like Cedaline. When he asked the robot, could you have restored this city? It says, of course, but you never asked, waking Superman from his state, saying, enough foolishness, I'll stop everything I've done and let my people live freely. But the robot says, these inputs are wrong, and I won't execute them, firing at them, causing a pillar to fall on them. But Luthor enters at the last moment to save her, wearing a suit that makes him super, telling her, hide until I handle this, and he goes to the robot to keep fighting it until he enters Superman and destroys it. But he finds it's tied to a bomb, and is about to blow itself up, saying, "It's my time to protect the planet as I promised," taking the robot and continuing to space until it explodes. And then he reached a press conference to tell the people that the past period was difficult for humanity and killed many people because of unnecessary wars. That's why he decided to unite America and Russia under one state and also leave the rule to his deputy to devote himself to life. Then we see the superhero standing among the gathered people in disguise so no one sees him, and he leaves after the speech is over. And that's it. Our film ends. I hope you enjoyed with us. Don't forget to like, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe and activate the notification bell to receive our videos. Goodbye.